Okay, you guys got Hassan Joe, Julian Hammond III. We'll go ahead and open up for questions.
Guys, for both of you guys, you obviously were able to cut it to 2 there a couple times in the second half, but was it just kind of the turnovers in the first half that kind of led to the deficit that kind of felt like a little bit too much there, or was there just lack of execution offensively down the stretch with the issue?
I mean, they're a pretty good team on defense, and they don't play at the fastest pace. So when you have that many turnovers in the first half, and then in the second half they had 7 offensive rebounds, it's really it's hard to get back in front, really, especially when you're down double digits. They're a good team on defense and on offense, so it's really just a mixture of both. But we just shouldn't have let the lead get to what it was at the end of the first half.
Hassan, coming in the second half, you guys were down. I think you went down 14 early in the second half. You lost a couple of guys, coming out were shorthanded in the second half. But I know you didn't get the result, but what were you guys able to do, obviously, to stage a rally, even being shorthanded, and get yourselves back in this game?
Yeah, I think playing with not my teammates on the second half was not helping. I think it was not something that handicap us today. I think we could get the job done, regardless of what we did. But like Julian said, we did not rebound good and we did not take care of the ball. And Coach was talking about this all year, so it's on us. We just say it's on us for this.
It seemed like you guys had some trouble getting some good looks, especially from 3 during the game. And just kind of what were they doing defensively? Julian, you mentioned how good they are, but just kind of what were they doing to make you guys uncomfortable and taking away some of the looks you're used to getting?
I mean, they're just pressuring us like every team has so far. Teams are trying to make us turn the ball over and stuff like that, and that's been a problem for us. So they adjusted how they play a little bit, because sometimes they kind of sag off a little bit of certain guys. But today they were pressuring everybody, and when you're being pressured, it's hard to find good threes all the time. But I feel like we still found a decent amount of open threes. Obviously, the guys are gonna be running at you. It's not gonna be wide open, but some of the threes we had were for good shooters. We just didn't make them.
How much was the loss of RJ in that second half? I mean, he's been really good for you guys all season. He's been a second ball handler to you. I mean, just kind of what did that mean, and kind of how did that change things for you guys?
RJ, I mean, he's a great player on offense, but we especially miss him on defense. He's a real tough, physical defender, a real good athlete. He shoots the ball well from 3, so he does a lot of things on the court that are simple, but he isn't very good. So we miss that.
You guys gave up 26 points to Javon Small. I was just wondering, in your 4 years, how many guys you've played have been that caliber of player?
I mean, he's a real good player. To start the second half, he took some tough shots, step back threes, and we knew that he was gonna do that. We knew he was gonna get into his dribble moves, his dribble combos to try and set up jumpers, whether it's step backs, pull ups, attacking the rim, or whatever it was. So he's a real good player, though. He draws fouls good as well. So it's tough.
Julian, how you doing? I mean, it's early in the season, but 4 in a row can start to weigh on a guy.
No, yeah, it's definitely frustrating losing 4 games in a row. We haven't had a 4-game losing streak in a while since. I can't remember last time. I don't even know if we haven't since I've been here. But so obviously it's frustrating, but we try to keep our team together, keep our guys together, because we have another game on Wednesday, and Cincinnati is also 0-4. So we both have something to prove, and so we gotta be ready. We gotta be ready for them.
Anything else? Thanks, guys. Hey everybody, we've got head coach Tad Boyle. Coach, if you please start with an opening statement. We'll open it up for questions.
Well, another disappointing loss. I mean, it's been like that now 4 games in a row. So I take responsibility for this. I'm the head coach. We let a team that's averaging 62 points a game come in our building and score 78 on us. They've had injuries. They're shorthanded. And I got to do a better job helping our guys guard, because right now we can't guard. You know, we did at times in the second half. We scratched and clawed our way back, but then down the stretch, the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, we couldn't get stops. And so that's on me. I'll take responsibility for this. I'm the head coach, and I'll take your questions.
What happened with RJ and Elijah?
Elijah tweaked his back, so he's was not able to play. You know, I asked guys if they're not 100%. I need him, to tell me, and he said his back was really hurting him, so he didn't go. RJ was not himself tonight from the get-go. We took him out one time in the first half, and he just had a kind of a blank look on his face. So I think they're doing some tests on him, see how he's feeling. So I don't know the answer to that one, but I know Elijah tweaked his back. So, we'll see where we're at as the day progresses with RJ and tomorrow, and we'll know more tomorrow.
You guys are obviously able to get back into the game with they're a very aggressive defensive team. You're able to get to the free throw line
Yeah.
a lot. I think majority of your points in the second half came from the free throw line. How does that affect the flow of the offense? Does it at all, or just kind of?
Well, it's tough to get into flow. There's no doubt about that. But hey, the good thing is you go on the line, and they're getting in foul trouble. Two guys there's fouled out, and so that's the benefit to us. We talked going into this game and going into all 3 of our Big 12 games of being strong with the ball, and really, secure with it. And I thought our guys did a pretty darn good job of that. Now, we had some silly turnovers in that first. We had 11 turnovers in the first half, and 2 illegal screens, 3 balls thrown it out of bounds, 1 dribbling into traffic. Like, it's just silly stuff. Like, did a much better job in the second half. Only had 3 turnovers in the second half. Now, 2 of those 3 came at a critical point in the game. It was a 2-point game, and then we took a really, really ill-advised 3 without a paint touch, which we talked about at halftime. And so, yeah, I mean, you got to make plays down the stretch, and we didn't. But, yeah, I mean, the free throw thing, look, this is the first time I felt like, certainly in league play, where I thought the officials, if it was a foul, they called it a foul. If it wasn't a foul, now they didn't call every foul. There's always going to be missed calls on both sides, so we know that. But I thought our guys were stronger with the ball, and I thought we got a very good whistle tonight. I mean, I thought both sides. I mean, we fouled a lot down the stretch. Those things are going to even out. But that's where your offense has got, you can't have those 3 empty possessions in a 2-point game and expect to get over the hump. Because when you're behind, you got to get stops and you got to score. And you don't have to score every time. You don't have to get a stop every time, but you have to get more stops and more scores than the other team to shrink that lead. We shrunk it to 2 multiple times, but we couldn't get over the hump.
How much did losing RJ hurt you guys defensively, especially with what you want to maybe do with Javon Small?
I thought Andre Akimovsky was terrific on Jamal Small all night long. He made a tough step-back 3 on him to start the half. He made one on Trevor. He made one on Ruff. So he got 3 of our guys on the same move, which we showed our guys in film. We told them that this is what he likes to do. He loves to jab right, step back 3 going to your left. But he meant bang, 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 and that was 9 points. But even with that, we were able to overcome it and close the gap. We just weren't able to get over the hump. But I thought Andre did a terrific job, and all of our guys, because we were switching 5 ways in the second half with Elijah out, and I thought that was what allowed us to get back in the game. But at the end, when we switched, we couldn't guard Yesufu. He got downhill. He made threes. He drew fouls. So.
I was going to mention Yesufu. It felt like whenever you guys did get to the free throw line, make 2. Get it to 2 a couple times, it felt like they would respond, especially with a big basket, sometimes even land 1. I mean, how killer were those kind of?
Okay, that's what good players do. Good players make plays down the stretch. How often did I sit here and talk about McKinley Wright making plays down the stretch to help us win a game? Guess what? McKinley Wright is not in our uniform. He's not a Buffalo. He's still a Buffalo, but he's not a current Buffalo. He's a former Buffalo. So that's what good players do, and they make plays when plays need to be made, and they finish at the rim. You know, they had 1 offensive rebound in the first half. They had 7 in the second half. If we just hit our offensive rebounding goal, which is 6 or fewer for the game, and we hit our threes made game goal, which is 6 or fewer in the game, I think we win this game. But we didn't hit either one of them, and so like close ain't good enough. Like you got to get the job done, and we didn't get the job done. And that's, guys, that's on me. It's not on our players. It's on me. I'll take it. I signed their scholarship agreements. It's on me.
Coach, anytime you switch conferences, there's going to be a pivot. Is this acclimation more challenging than you thought it would be?
No, I knew this was going to be a hell of a league. It's not easy to win in the Big 12 on the road or at home. We just had 2 games I thought that were winnable that we didn't win. So you got to figure out how do you win the next one. No, I knew going to the Big 12 it was going to be a challenge. There's no doubt about it. And you know, we lost a lot off last year's team. I thought we replenished well enough. That has not been the case, but that's on the head coach. It's not their fault. It's my fault. So I got to take responsibility for this in every facet: offense, defense, you know, recruiting, everything. I got to take responsibility, and I do, and I'm disappointed in myself.
You heard, I asked Julian, how's morale? He said he doesn't remember a time there where they lost 4 in a row. Are you concerned about guys getting down?
Well, we'll find out. What I told the team in the locker room, we'll find out what we're made of now. This is what life teaches you. This is what athletics teaches you. How do you handle it when you're – look, I've been through it before. We were 0-7 to start Pac-12 play one year, I think. Maybe it was 0-8. I can't remember. 0-7. So I've been here before. Now they haven't. Guess what? So what? Nobody feels sorry for us. Cincinnati doesn't feel sorry for us. We don't feel sorry for Cincinnati. You know, they're going to be 2 0-4 teams duking it out here on Wednesday night. And so I don't want to feel sorry for ourselves. I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I'm blaming myself. I'm taking ownership. And that's what we all need to do. And it starts with me. And so, but life isn't always easy. It's not 70 degrees and sunny every day. And, you know, we got to put things in perspective, all the things that are going on in the world today, especially in Southern California with all the people that have, you know, the disaster there that's happened, and we lived through that a few years ago. So, you know, perspective is important, I think, for these young men to understand that it's not all about me. And the most natural thing for young men to do and for old men to do when things are tough is you think about yourself. You think, oh, woe is me. Oh, you know, we're not catching a break. Guess what? You ain't going to get out of this like that. You got to get out of this by saying, okay, I'm counting on you. I'm counting on you. You can count on me. We're going to be in this thing together, and we're going to fight through this thing together no matter what happens.
Tad, you mentioned the theme coming in the game, being strong with the ball. And you mentioned the change from the turnover from the first half to the second half of this one. Obviously, a bunch of turnovers against UCF the other day. You know teams are going to be pressuring you pretty hard the rest of the way. I mean, is that just kind of the key, like you said, just kind of being strong with the ball because you expect this now every day?
And I thought in the second half we were until critical junctures where just, you know, we made an entry pass to a guy at the elbow that they reached around and poked away and got the loose ball, and then we, you know, ran a play, and I don't know, I didn't see it. It was my back, or his back was to me. I don't know if we dribbled it off our foot, but it just went out of bounds. Like, you know, in the first half, you know, 2 illegal screens, throw the ball away. Like I said, I've ad nauseum. Like we invent new ways to turn the ball over, and until we figure that out, it's going to be tough to win games in this league. Because again, our turnover number is 11 or fewer. I think we've hit that twice this year, maybe 3 times.
A couple really active and productive games in a row for Hassan. Is there a thought he's maybe kind of turning a corner? Or?
Well, I hope so. I thought down the stretch he struggled. He struggled to rebound the ball down the stretch. But Hassan does some good things for us. He's going to give you everything he's got. He's Hassan's. I look at him like a freshman. I look at him and BD kind of like freshmen, even though they're sophomores because they didn't play a lot last year. So he's doing some good things. He's getting better for us. But he's got a lot of room for improvement as well. All of our guys have room for improvement, head coach included.
You talked about the ball screen coverage in the second half without Elijah, but the first half it seemed like they really get to the pick and roll, especially with Small being as talented as he
Yeah.
is. So
Yeah.
how are you going to guard the pick and roll going forward?
Well, it depends on the player. You know, Small has the ability to pass the ball and get downhill and shoot the three coming off the ball screen. So he really he represents a big challenge in your ball screen defense, and he's a very good player. He's a first-team All-League guy in my opinion. We're only 4 games in, but he keeps playing like this. I mean, he's legit, so he represents problems. So our ball screen defense against Cincinnati will be based on Cincinnati's personnel. I don't know if they have a Javon Small. I sure as hell hope not on their roster. But if they do, it represents a challenge. I think the switching did help us, without a doubt.
Anything else for Coach?